And in the bottom left, in the red, she's playing for the Shopify Rebellion. It's Scarlett.
And her opponent spawning up at the top right for Mystery Gaming. It is Bunny.
If there ever was a time for a bunny to do well, it would be the spring. And you know, we're not too far away from spring. You know, if you compare, if you live in, like, I don't know, the southern United States, and you compare how hot it is for you right now, and you look at what the weather is in Jonkoping, Sweden, that might as well be spring. So you know what? That's my stretch. That's my reach of the tournament thus far, and it works, right? It clearly is spring in Jonkoping.
I mean, I'm glad that the weather in Texas is doing just fine. Where I am up in Kanakistan, Canadiana, we did have, you know, a good portion of the country that was on fire. So we're just happy to be out of that. So in a sense, I suppose it's kind of like springtime now that we're not anymore, which is quite nice. You know, I am really interesting. I am really interested to see if it will be springtime for Bunny here, because I would love to see him get that big win that we've been looking for.
Honestly, though, I mean, he has been so good. You talk about that Atlanta run, you know, taking down Cyril, putting it to Hero, who, you know, had won GSL Season 2 against a Terran player who went up 3-1 on that. It was an incredible run. But also we've seen a Bunny that has been, I think, a little bit less impressive after that run. He didn't perform nearly as well in Katowice as we would have expected. But, you know, game one, Royal Blood, he is not opening with pressure. This is just as quick as a third base as you could possibly get. So leaning into that greed, but in general, this is kind of, okay, well, this is half of how the meta has been, is one Ling will fall. It's either you go super greedy like this, or you drop 2 barracks in the natural wall, go for some sort of a double Reaper play, 3 racks Reaper, something like that. But this is both, kind of.
Well, this is actually a very off meta play right here.
Yeah.
This is super unique. He has cut the factory. He delayed, I mean, he delayed anything else, went 1 racks 3 CC right here. And that is already pretty bold. And now has thrown down 2 additional barracks with this. So I wonder if this might be the kind of thing where you actually go for like a 3 racks play, and you kind of try and, if your opponent does an Overlord Scout, you try and represent as though it is just like a big bio play. And maybe Scarlett misreads this. Maybe she thinks that, you know, it is just a big bio push, and she doesn't drone up as much as she needs to. This is a really interesting play. I don't think I've seen this maybe ever before in like a super high level tournament like this.
Not against a Zerg, right? Because
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Because this is Bjorn's TVP. Well, this is one of Bjorn's TVP builds. This is one he does like one every 10, every 15 games, where you get a quick third, right? It's great greed, and then behind that you get all this early aggression, and if you get away with it, yeah, maybe your upgrades are delayed a little bit, but you have a lot of army, you got a lot of economy, it works out very well for you. But we don't tend to see that against Zergs for a couple of reasons. Reason number one, Zergs get a ton of queens, right? They have that strong defensive ability, that bulwark of just beef. That means they can buy time, they can build some more things, and B, if they scout it out, they'll drop a Bailing Nest, and a bunch of Stim Marines without any sort of a backup, it tends to struggle. But Scarlett has absolutely no idea about what's happening here. It's double eBay going down, there is no Bailing Nest, and Bunny's going to be moving out, and I want to say about 20 seconds if he decides to move out here, and there's no timing for a Bailing Nest for that. Scarlett, she's got to figure something out here.
Yeah, she certainly does. She's going to need to pump out a lot of Lings to deal with this. We got Bunny trying to clear out this scouting pack of Zerglings. As it stands right now, Scarlett's on 5 Zerglings. She is building more. Okay, there we go. She has started up a bunch more Zerglings. But is this going to be enough? She will have a good number of queens here. She's got 5 queens at the front, 6. Is she going to rally them all together?
I think she's
going to rally 7 of them together, and she is building a lot of lings. I think she's going to have enough to deal with this.
Yeah, it's okay. You don't want to lose those lings like that. No, that's a bit unfortunate. Scarlett, I love this counterattack. Just killing off a couple Marines on the backside, at least getting damage done to them, just delaying this push as much as possible. But it's a big stim, sure, but Bunny doesn't lose any Marines here. So, worst comes to worst, you can back up out of this. The factory is now done, and he's adding a 4th barracks before the starport. Oh, no, starport's done. Never mind. So, just continuing on that production, Scarlett, I think, had the read here that this was a 2-1-1, right? That looking at the timing on things, but she will be okay with it regardless. A couple SCVs go down, and Steadfast, I think we're starting to see why this build is not popular against Zergs, right? Scarlett read this as something that it wasn't, and still more than happy kind of on the initial defense.
Yeah, I think this is just fine for Scarlett. Now, she did lose a lot more lings than you'd like to. And Bunny certainly does need to wait for his medevacs before he gets a little bit spicier here. He needs to get these across the map. Like, you got to be careful with these units. But as long as he doesn't get surrounded, it should be just fine. Scarlett will get shoot away from the 3rd base right here. Bunny's doing a good job of kind of controlling the map. He is trying to lock down creep on this left side and open things up for an eventual push at this location. And there we go. Another nice little scan coming on in. Really going to hamper this creep heavily. Bunny won't be able to reach that creep tumor from the low ground, but he is giving himself a big opportunity here.
He certainly is with upgrades now done. These Marines they're going to have to run for their lives. So that's not going to be great, but they found a beautiful position. So Scarlett, she's going to try to get as much as she can, but she's just got to run away from this one. But she still just burrow through. And then on the top side here, one tank's going to get sieged up. Lings get on top of it, but all the Lings are dead. It's only Queens right now, and Scarlett, Baneling Nest or Baneling Speed only just now getting started. So 14 workers will hit the deck. 18 workers hit the deck here, but Bunny, this stim Marine timing is oh so powerful. The Marines in the concave on the high ground where the Queens are, but they're starting to run out of energy. They're starting to die. And the Lings, they start to arrive just a little bit more. 19 SCVs have died Steadfast for the tune of, what is that, 6 Queens, 116 Lings. Scarlett, though, she holds on, and that seems like more than enough.
It certainly does, and Bunny does not have an armory during all this. He has been kind of dealing with this whole thing, and that means Scarlett's going to get a big upgrade lead. She starts targeting down medevacs. We'll get one of them. Second one will fall. Big pickoffs right there, because right now Bunny really needs to find some momentum. So taking down medevacs and preventing them from being a big, maybe 16 Marines unloading in the main base, something like that, is a big deal. Scarlett does have this good creep spread on the right side. She won't spot these double medevacs just yet, but she does have some fantastic creep on the right side to cover that base, that 4th base.
Yeah, the crazy thing as well, she's done this without Banelings. I mean, Baneling Speed is done now. She has Banelings now. Is a little bit of a mismarker there. Scarlett, the Marines are not on the left of your base. They're in your mineral line. You have to clean that up. So 5 workers will hit the deck, and meanwhile, much more pressure on the right side. 12 workers go down. So we've been praising Scarlett for her defense here, and Bunny starting to find a little bit more. 12 workers go down. Scarlett's economy not nearly, and it was never strong, right? Maxed out at, I think, about 65 workers. So it's good defense. Don't get me wrong, but I love the bait here. This is a dead 4th. Well,
yeah, it will be. No transfuse available. That's a huge pickoff right there, and a brilliant bait, as you called out right there. That was so smart. Bunny recognizing and knowing about this little pocket in the bottom right. The hatchery does not give vision. You need an overlord in the bottom, or you need a creep tumor over here to see a drop unloading back there. And that's a really nice play from Bunny to take advantage of that. Now, I still think I like Scarlett's position because Bunny is in such a delayed state for his upgrades. But that is not going to be forever. And Bunny's army supply right now is very significant.
Yeah, unfortunately, for Scarlett here, Bunny is not a diamond turn. He's, of course, a pro player, and it's only diamonds that are forever. So Bunny will eventually get those upgrades and move on forward. But you're right. This is a powerful timing. Hydras are on the way. Scarlett's getting ready for Hive eventually. But again, the problem is her economy is just getting hampered. And the thing that Bunny's done here is such a powerful idea in that he was going pedal to the metal. 1A, right? Get his entire army together, run him across the map, find value. And it's so easy as a Zerg to get yourself into that idea of, okay, the Terran's pushing, the Terran's pushing, the Terran's pushing. My entire army has to be together to win the fight. And then all of a sudden, the Terran moves into drop play. And if you're not ready for that swap of game state, we can see just what happened. Just about 20 dead workers, a dead base. If you're not ready for that swap, I mean, it can get just as much damage as Bunny found. But now Scarlett, she seems a little bit more ready. You know, there are spores everywhere, there are queens everywhere, lings everywhere. She's adapted to the way the game is getting played.
She doesn't see this drop though, once again, and there we go. She does respond very quickly, and will be able to transfuse up this spore. But she needs to just drop just one creep tumor, just to even the spore. The spore will do the job. There we go. Creep tumor, great too. Excellent. It is a very small position of vulnerability. There we go. Scarlett has not been droning this whole time, but now as she kind of resecures a 4th and a 5th base, 20 drones hit the production tab, and she will find herself on a late game economy very quickly and very suddenly. Bunny, he has not been building workers this whole time. He has stayed on a very low worker count, and he is maxed out on 139 army supply. Now, Scarlett is on 212 upgrades, but Bunny has been clearing out a good amount of creep. He's got so many siege tanks now, 8 siege tanks, couple of liberators. Oh my God, these tanks, they're on siege. If Scarlett jumps them, this is a huge find for her.
That it is. Couple banelings will fall, but all the tanks, or at least a good majority of them, they will hit the deck. Bunny doesn't even try to unsiege and save. So, yeah, you know, it's a little expensive for Scarlett. All the baneling connections, fantastic. And Scarlett now backing up here. Bunny does have a counterattack on the other side. He's going to try to find his way into the 3rd base here. Couple lings respond, and the upgrades, they're still not ready. So Scarlett takes a far better trade than she has any right to. So that counterattack gets swatted down, and yes, Scarlett will lose a base. She's back down to 4. But Bunny has lost so much of the tech of his army. He's only on 3 bases right now. He's only on 52 workers. So, yes, Scarlett doesn't want to lose that, but she can afford to right now. The one thing we have to point out, Steadfast, that infestation pit, it's been done for like 5 minutes now. There is no hive on the way. Scarlett does not have the money. She has not had the time to get there. So eventually, not only will Bunny equalize his upgrades here, right? Sitting at 2-2 now. When he has a bit of time, if he decides to go for that, he can start to eclipse the big advantage that Scarlett has had this game.
Yes, and it is... I don't even know if we're going to get there at this point. We are going to see a lot of Banes connecting.
What are you doing,
God,
buddy?
Bunny taking the hugest Banelings to the face. He just lost just about everything. Bunny, what happened? The army supply just disappeared.
He wasn't looking there. There was a run by, I think, on his 4th base, on his 3rd, something like that.
Oh, and he loses another tank.
He just wasn't looking at all. And yeah, we're going to get there now, Steadfast. Actually, the better question might be, does Scarlett let Bunny get there? Because at this point, you know, she's got her 5th base up. We look at the 67 Marines dead. Bunny lost twice as many resources, twice as many minerals in that fight as the Zerg did. That doesn't happen.
It never happens. That literally never happens at this level. Not with armies of this size and quality. That should never have happened. Bunny just got caught snoozing and did not hit the alarm until it was far too late. Oh, Scarlett, nice job on the right side. She finds this drop. And now she is the one who is, for a long time, Bunny was the one out multitasking Scarlett. Now she is the one who is out multitasking Bunny. Bunny was in such a good position, I feel, until he lost those tanks. Even after that, I feel like he was in a decent, even I would say advantageous spot once he finished up his 2-2. Now he has lost all the momentum. He has lost every advantage he had. He still has a lot of creep that's been killed off, but Scarlett's repairing it in a lot of places right now.
Oh, certainly. And now she's got Vipers on the way, Adrenal. I'd like to see... Oh, sorry, she does have Carapace on the way, so everything she could possibly want. And now she's got her 6th base on the way. Bunny struggling to keep his 4 bases up here. And by the way, that 3rd, there's not a lot of resources there anymore. He's been muling it pretty heavily this entire time, so... Yeah, you're right. You know, drops are getting cleaned up, but the Hydras are an even stronger drop defense. That being said, the multitasking of Bunny on the showcase, once again, another base goes down. So every single time Scarlett finds an opportunity, every single time it seems like Scarlett is in a nigh insurmountable position. Well, Bunny does find some way back, but the question is, Steadfast, we're always going to have to ask it, is it enough?
Yeah, Bunny hasn't started his 3-3 despite having a lot of gas for quite some time. And that is a problem. Like he's getting close to maxing out again. He needs to be thinking about those next steps. He's not adding on a Ghost Academy. Bunny, as far as I can tell, I was thinking this was going to be a big litmus test for both of these players. And I gotta say, neither of them, they both look like they're experiencing a lot of nerves.
Yeah, this is, of course, going to be the first game. Those tank shots kill all the Bailing. Scarlett cannot attack in there anymore. Blinding Cloud's just a little late. I mean, we see the tanks, you know, like the ones in the front, they get disabled briefly, but it's not going to be enough. But this is the move. Adrenal's done, add a couple Bailings as well, and Bunny is going to be forced to go all in off this. And the key thing, by the way, Bailings were not committed into that fight. It really was just the Lings. That's going to be powerful usage later on. But Bunny has been below 50 workers this entire game. He's at 140 army supply. And with the tank count he's got here, it's 11. You thought 8 tanks earlier, Steadfast was big. He's got 11. Scarlett, this is a hard army to fight into.
It is a very scary army, and it's so easy to rush in. She is going to go for it. She does have a lot of blinding clouds available. Will drop them the frontline tanks. The flank is huge, and Scarlett is going to crush the front line. She's going to crush the back line, and she is going to crush Bunny's army. Game 1 goes to Scarlett.
Steadfast, are you telling me that she's putting Bunny on the sideline? Because, you know, front line, back line. Sideline. Anyway,
I was like, does that have something to do with bunnies? Do bunnies play football? do they play? What do they play?
I mean, they're in Europe, so they play soccer or football.
Football.
Right? Football.
Foot. That was a weird game.
Yeah.
Both players experiencing a lot of mistakes, and definitely it feels like there was a lot of nerves at play right there.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I think both players absolutely could have won that game. And I think if we're looking at this as, okay, who's going to make a deep run here? I don't think either of them do, which feels like is a horrible thing to say. But I mean, you put those performances up against, I don't know, even the Australia that we saw. You put it up against Maru or Raynor. No, I don't think so.
The thing is, there's always a little bit of extra nerves at the outset of a tournament, you know? It's always going to be a little bit more at the beginning because Bunny was doing a lot of good things in terms of the setup. He had a bit of an uncomfortable start and definitely was finding some good plays, some good situations with the draw play. He made that heads up play with the kind of bait to kill off the 4th base, but you can't leave 50, 60, 70, 80 Marines clumped up on creep with no splash damage. You just can't. You can't do that.
No, I think the other thing we need to point out here is that Bunny went for a really weird build in game 1. Like, it was 3 CC, 3 racks, pressure found and nothing. In fact, Scarlett was the one that got damage done. So as we move into Babylon, who knows? Maybe Bunny doing something a little more standard. Maybe that allows him to get into the game more because, again, this was a setup where Scarlett was ahead and then a Bunny finds his way back and it's kind of back and forth and no one remembers to actually fight themselves off. But we got an interesting setup here, so we're going to get into game 1. Game 2. In the bottom right, in the blue, down a game. It's Bunny.
And his opponent spawning up at the top left for the Shopify Rebellion. She is Scarlett.
So Steadfast, tell me about what in the world Scarlett's doing, because this was a double gas canceled here.
It was indeed. It was what we have come to know affectionately as the Eric build. Now there are a couple of ways to go about this. It's a little bit different. But we do have so what this has been a revolutionary build. It is an extractor trick 15 hatch, but with a very quick, this is predominantly, in my opinion, a better build for ZVP. I actually don't think I like it very much in ZVT because it does hinder your economy a little bit, but it actually has a neat little side effect, which is that your hatchery finishes about 10 seconds earlier than normal. We see at 1:49 this hatchery finishes up. Usually it's going to be at 1:59, 2 minutes. So that means it gets extra armor against things like a proxy 2-Rex. You have the queens out a little bit faster. It's just a neat build and a neat way to go about the game.
You're telling me you just think it's neat? I think it's neat. But the interesting thing, right? I kind of half expected to see a Roachborn go down behind this. I mean, yeah, Babylon is maybe not the shortest map, but it's not incredibly long. But even still, with the Reaper opening, you don't go for that one. As I say that, Roachborn goes down. So you know what? maybe I should speak slower so we can wait for the production tab to develop.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. It's a little bit of a funky setup in general, and this is definitely a cool way to kind of look at things overall. Because if you're not used to an opener in general and you're like, oh man, okay, this hatchery is a little bit earlier, the expansion timing, the third base timing is a lot delayed, and that's what makes this kind of a special thing from otherwise just a quirky opener in general, is this setup. Oh, Bunny's going to get into the main base. He is going to see this Roach Warren, and that is a crucial scout. Scarlett trying to get greedy with just 2 lings to block. Bunny just runs right through it and gets in.
Yeah, and the thing we have to point out as well, Steadfast, is that this is, well, first of all, this is a really nice build to do if you're up 1-0, right? You maybe catch them off guard, but I think realistically, 2 lings and a queen on the Reaper Cliff, you commit them that far forward like that almost is alarm bells for Bunny in and of itself. But look at how he's choosing to defend this. You know, it's not going to be a tech lab on the factory. It's not going to be for quick cyclones. No, it's concussive shells on the Marauders, and it's an interesting approach.
I kind of like it. This is a dedicated setup from Scarlett in terms of relative position. Of course, she's going to be droning out of this, but she will be looking to get some damage done. And concussive shell Marauders are going to be a good job of preventing that. And then this can transition potentially into a Hellbat counterattack. Scarlett will be able to trade out, but I don't think these are the kind of trades that you're really looking for. She only kills 3 SCVs, 2 Hellions for 7 Roaches and 2 Lings, and now she'll need to build a lot of Roaches to defend the counterattack. I think it would have been much better to just, maybe when you see the bunker, just disengage.
Yeah, or, you know, build some Ravagers maybe and just try to slow roll it down or something, but this, this was not it. You say she traded out. I don't think that counts. It's not a trade.
I mean, she traded the Roaches out. She just didn't get any meaningful value.
Yeah, it's just about the worst trade in the history of trade. It's just about the worst deal in the history of deals is what Scarlett goes for on that one. But, you know, she is droning behind this. She's got her lair on the way. The Banshees are a really nice addition. And the Pulled Viking, right? You just knock down some Overlords. You keep Scarlett even more supply blocked. You know with all these Roaches, she's not gonna... Overlords she's gonna have to build more of them. That makes it even more expensive. And where does Scarlett go from here? I don't necessarily anticipate her going back into Ling play. Certainly there's no Baneling, or there's no Ling speed. So 1-1 Roach timing off of this, but I mean, even that feels like it's going to be far too late.
I wouldn't necessarily say far too late. I would just say it will lack oomph.
Well, that's the same
given
thing,
how
right?
the game has. I guess. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, Scarlett with a bit of an oopsie in the natural expansion. She pulled all of her drones away from that base for a moment.
Ooh.
Just lost a bunch of mining time for. So definitely some nerves showing themselves here, and it's totally understandable. It's the first game of the tournament, and there's no warm-up here, really. Obviously, you have your own personal warm-ups, but it's not like you're playing in the open bracket. I'm not saying I envy the players in the open bracket, but you get to kind of find your groove a little bit. Whereas in this one, you're playing against a GSL top 4 player for Scarlett. I didn't talk about this, though. No Spore Crawlers. Scarlett is taking gigantic damage already from these Banshees. She has misread this. She did not realize it was Banshees.
No, Steadfast, on a scale of dead to dead, how dead is Scarlett?
She's feeling pretty banged up right now. Oh, she does get one of the Banshees, so at least there's that. But she's gonna lose even more drones on the third. Oh, yeah. This is rough.
I don't know. I'm getting shade. Did you cast the Kellizer Scarlett series with me? I can't remember whether it was you or someone else, but anyway, I'm getting shades of Kellizer Scarlett, where, yeah, you know, Scarlett is probably going to make a game of it from this point, but we had this game on New Humanity where Kellizer went aggression and killed like 60 workers by the 6-minute mark, and it's just like, once Scarlett starts reeling like this, once she starts just being put on the back foot, we can see games happen like this, where, you know, decent macro, fine, but she can never properly stabilize and can never get to the tech that she needs to. But this time, Bunny's got a really powerful push. He's got 2 tanks in this medevac. He's got a bunch of stim marines. They don't have upgrades. They're going to be done soon, but even still, I mean, we're looking at 9 roaches versus so much more from the Scarlett's down 20 army supply as roaches. This is just, yeah, this is not good.
Yeah, she tried to drone really, really hard to just catch up, and that's the right call, because if Bunny doesn't attack right away, if he's like, oh, okay, you know, I killed a bunch of drones, I don't need to push, then this works out for Scarlett, and it's a brilliant move. But with Bunny pushing right away, he's going to be able to probably kill off this base. Scarlett is trying to buy time for herself, but Bunny is also waiting for his own 1-1, and combat shields. It will complete. Scarlett is going to pull the trigger here. She will be able to drop some corrosive biles on that frontline tank. She will take it out, and the reinforcements from Bunny are not forthcoming. Scarlett is going to hold this base.
Yeah, I was convinced.
Nice hot pickup.
Very nice. I was convinced that was a dead base. Meanwhile, on the other side, this drop gets 3 workers is nothing at this point. So I think it's too much to say Scarlett has stabilized, but she does have the 1-1, right? So her upgrades are solid. She is now getting into that roach production. Army supply for a second was, you know, eclipsing the Terran, but she's not going to commit to it. And I was about to spin this argument of, okay, well, you know, she maxes out on this. She gets up this big 1-1 roach time. It still seems somewhat viable. The tank count is only 3, but she's progressing forward, right? She's got +1 melee on the way, bailing speed, infestation pit. Scarlett does not believe in the ability to kind of break the game open with a bunch of roaches. And, you know, I think that's fair, but it does give Bunny all the tempo that he could possibly want.
Potentially, yes. Scarlett did just drone up a lot, and she did not build a whole lot of units right now. Now Bunny is looking to really hammer this one home. Before it was a pressure. This is now his economy, his infrastructure fully set up, and he is going to be finding a lot of value. This position on the high ground is so difficult to attack into. Bunny knows that it's still there as long as he keeps the creep at bay, and Scarlett is really struggling to kind of buy time for herself. The Bunny is fighting away from his tanks, but every time Scarlett kind of gets a good position, he just pulls back to those tanks, and Scarlett has to disengage. The hatchery goes down. Scarlett does get a couple of big corrosive biles on the medevacs, but I just don't think it's going to be enough right here. Bunny is really ahead in army supply now.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Scarlett just commit to the 1-1. You know, build a bunch of roaches, build a bunch of ravagers, say that's fine, but instead she commits to a hive and a bailing nest and bailing speed and zergling speed and all of these things. And while she doesn't have the gas count right now is the problem. I'm not going to say she ever really had a shot in this game after her pressure didn't work out and she lost, what was it, like 20 workers to the Banshees. But she got caught in transition, and that meant Bunny ended the game maybe even faster than he might have otherwise done. So now the Bunny hops, and we're going to game 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if Scarlett had managed to... I think if she had chilled out a little bit more and built a few more roaches, because she still could have transitioned into the Ling speed, the Bane speed, the +1 melee, the +2 Karis, but she built a lot of drones after holding the first attack, and she had already built so many drones, and she wasn't able to secure the high ground on that position. And pushing from the high ground on Babylon is so strong for the Terran. It is ridiculously strong. Unless you have Vipers, unless you have a big flank. She didn't have either of those available to her. And Bunny, he patiently closes out that game.
Yeah. Really well played from Bunny. But I think you're right. Scarlett, if she's, say, Dark, right? Because I look at Dark as someone who is probably the best player to deal with a situation like Scarlett found herself in. We wouldn't see Dark go for all of it. We would go for we would see him go for, drone up and stay on low tech, or not drone up and develop his tech. But together, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So Scarlett now, again, kind of a bit of an issue. Well, fell into a bit of a problem there, but that just means, Steadfast, that we get to see our first game 3 of the tournament thus far, which is fantastic. And more importantly, it's Gressfon. It's probably the best map in the pool, at least in terms of giving us epic games. Solar and Bjorn are sitting at about 20 minutes into their Gressfon game, and let's see if we can eclipse them, because game 3, it is just about ready to go. Here we go, game 3. And at the bottom right in the red, game 1 looks fantastic, but game 2, roaches into death is kind of what happened, but she's the one that died. It's Scarlett.
And her opponent spawning up at the top left. Despite some mishaps in game 1, he's refocused and he looks good. For Mystery Gaming, it is Bunny. And I mean, honestly, really, even with everything that did happen, everything that went wrong, yeah, it was a smooth recovery from Bunny. Like, it was really just that one big, well, I mean, there was 2 big mistakes, really. The one was the tanks being caught completely undefended. And while it looked like an expensive trade for Scarlett, and it was, of course paired with the fact that those Marines were then left on creep. Like, it was 2 really massive no-nos in an otherwise pretty sharp game from Bunny. But game 2 was, he cleaned up those mistakes very quickly.
Yeah, and part of it also was Scarlett went for a very weird build, right? She went for the Eric build, the double gas cancel, that type of thing. And Bunny got the scout. He saw the roach spore, and he was ready in time. And more had more than enough. And the thing we need to talk about, by the way, is because he went for that Marauder hold, it meant he had a little bit more gas available to him, and that meant that he was able to get into that double Banshee, maybe even quicker than Scarlett would have expected. And then, well, 20 workers down the drain, and it is very hard for Zerg to win a game, but that's not happening. Not in this game number 3. It's going to be Gressfon. I think we can both expect just a massive macro game, which, in this setup, I mean, game 1 was fantastic, so I'm hoping for more of that one.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because both of them, we do see that Ling going down, but the Reaper getting a little bit low on HP will be fine, but it doesn't mean he can contest the creep tumor now. Yeah, like that's a pipe dream. That is a pipe dream to contest this creep tumor. Scarlett, I think she should have just dropped it right away and just tried to bait Bunny in, because now there is enough time that there is the possibility for the contest. She tried to bait. Oh man, if she had dropped that tumor 0.1 seconds earlier, Bunny would have made the same play and he would have lost the Reaper. He was on 2 HP.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. That was very funky. Now Scarlett gets caught trying to send the Lings out. This is a play we almost never see because of exactly this. Now she's going to lose 2 more Lings. Bunny, I mean, it's already a bit of a weird start here in this game number 3, even off of the most standard opener. And now we are going to see something that I thought we might have seen as a follow-up.
Yeah, there we go. That Hellbat Marauder play finding its way. I mean, we don't have concussive shells on the way yet, but we don't expect it to eventually. That is eventually, we're going to get that one moving forward. And Scarlett, she is building some Lings, right? She will have more Queens on the way. Of course, this is delayed clash as the opener, so speed a little slower, which means, again, a little greedier earlier on. That means more drones. That means, technically, for a timing like this finding its way forward, that is technically a little bit more defense because you drone faster, but she does have to sniff it out. She does have to figure out what's happening here, and she has no scout. She has no overlord on the... Did she lose the overlord on the... No. She just never sent a scouting over... Okay, I'm blind. But that is an overlord.
It's weird because it like hides on the minimap. It's only half present on the minimap.
Yeah, and I'm like looking over there, beneath my lights. I'm like, is there an... Okay, there we go. Anyway, point being, she still has to scout with it, and we don't see it moving in yet.
No, and she's droning really hard. She has no idea what's coming. She is expecting economic focus, and I am getting very worried for Scarlett right now, especially with 4 of the queens super far forward. The medevac is going to boost forward. Now, fortunately for Scarlett, she's got this overloaded position that is going to see this coming very quickly, so she'll be able to pull the queens back. Yeah,
no.
She's going to see that medevac boosted, and she will pull the queens back. But this is, she droned so hard. This is so dedicated from Bunny.
Now, 12 Lings are on the way. Roachborn on the way here as well. And the Marauders, you know, they only get on 1 queen at the start. So probably the best possible scenario. Grenade. But a 2nd queen will fall. And now with drones, none of them go down just yet. So Lings, they're popping out, but they're popping out piecemeal. This is a problem. Scarlett going back as far as she can. Bunny, though, he's going to find his way right in. And the queens, now they're trapped. There's nowhere for them to go, not easily. And the problem again, the Lings, they just keep popping out. 1, 2, 1, 2. There's nothing there. You cannot find this around. And now the drones. Oh, roast them up, baby. But only 4 for the moment. From those steadfast, the queens, they're falling so much here. And they can't do anything. So this is, even if no more workers go down, which I think is unlikely, Scarlett will have no production, she will have no defense, and Bunny, the absolute perfect game 3. He moves on to the qualifying match.